Good afternoon and welcome to Corporate Finance online classes. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Wanjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Okay, so dear students, now today in the last class, actually, we just read and tried to understand, okay, case number 3, which is about evaluating long-term investment projects, mutually exclusive situation. So in mutually exclusive situation, a company will have two projects on hand. Let's say, for example, project A and project B. Company cannot invest in both. Okay, it is due to scarcity of the financial resources. So company has to select any one project which can maximize shareholders' wealth. So in today's class, we are going to learn, okay, among project X and project Y, or machine X and machine Y, which one the company should select. Okay, that can maximize shareholders' wealth. Okay, so I hope you all are with me. Okay, and you have read the case, though it was explained in the previous class, but one more reading was required. I hope you have read and gone through the solution so that it becomes easy for you to understand. So let me share the case. Okay. Students, I hope you can see the PDF file.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So quickly I read it out one more time. Okay. This is a case of mutually exclusive situation. So humorously, the way I told, love marriage and arranged marriage. Okay, you can have anyone. Okay. So you have to marry the girl or boy. Okay. So either one whom you like or the one whom selected by your parents. You cannot marry both. Okay. Same way, if there are projects, okay, number of projects wherein the company has to invest in only one project, then they have to very carefully select, evaluate and select that project in which they should decide to invest. So this is from textbook. A company is considering two mutually exclusive X and Y, mutually exclusive proposals X and Y. Proposal X will require the purchase of machine X for 1,50,000 rupees with no salvage value. Okay, but an increase in the level of working capital to the tune of 50,000 over its lifetime. So additional working capital 50,000 is required, which becomes part of the initial cash outlay and which will be recovered, okay, in the terminal year of the project at its present value. The project will generate additional sales of 1,30,000 rupees. So they have already mentioned that it is incremental revenue. Okay, so please try to understand. Okay, in previous projects, what we did, we found out the revenue from old machine, revenue from new machine, then we minus it. That is how it was actual revenue, even in single proposal. Okay, that ore was already being processed. But for special or further processing, the company was planning to install a machine. So if the ore wouldn't have been processed, further processed, it would have been sold for 1,000 rupees per ton. So that is 25,000 tons. And if the ore is further processed, 80% of it can be sold. So 20,000 into 1,600 rupees per ton. So the difference amount is the incremental revenue. So here that is directly given. That is why I said you should develop a habit of reading and try to understand. Okay. And require cash expenses of 30,000 rupees. Okay. In each of the 5 years of its life cycle. Okay. So this has some cash expenses which you need to deduct, okay, from 1,30,000 rupees. Then proposal Y will require the purchase of a machine Y for 2,50,000 rupees with no salvage value, and additional working capital required is 70,000. The project is expected to generate additional sales of 2 lakh rupees with cash expenses aggregating to 50,000 rupees. Both machines are subject to written down value method of depreciation at the rate of 20%. So assuming the company does not have any other in the block of 20%, means you should not charge depreciation in the terminal year. has 12% cost of capital or discount rate, would have sufficient short-term capital gain in year 5, means you should find out is there any short-term capital loss. Okay, then the tax benefit on the short-term capital loss. That is how we find a written down value. Okay, comparing the written down value and the salvage value. Okay, so definitely, so there is no salvage value in both the cases. So that is the reason why written down value will be greater than salvage value. So there will be short-term capital loss, and company will save some income tax, okay, on account of short-term capital loss, which will become a stream of cash inflow, which we had done it in the previous examples of cases also. Okay, and it's subject to 35% tax. Okay, then the decision pending is advise. Okay, you are required to advise which machine it should purchase. Okay, so as I mentioned, this part you skip. It is only expansion of the problem. So when there is no salvage value, okay, advise the company which machine it should purchase, machine X or machine Y. Okay, so now what we have learned, so you should keep track and keep reading. In case of mutually exclusive proposal, the selection of the proposal precludes the choice of others. If you decide to invest in machine X, you have to forego machine Y. If you decide to invest in machine Y, you have to let go machine X or proposal X. The calculation of cash outflows and inflows are on lines similar to the replacement situation. So there is no separate format for mutually exclusive situation. Okay, so I thought time is worth spending. Okay, once again reading the case. Okay, now we will find out the cash streams or cash inflows of proposal X. Okay, so if you look at it, what we have done here, instead of having two separate tables, in the previous two problems, what we did, total cash outflow, one separate table, smaller one, and another table for cash flows after taxes, CFAT, another table. So both are now taken into same table. So this is not rocket science, dear students. As you can see, we have prepared a single table for cash outflows as well as for cash inflows. See how it goes. Pay attention. So first we are going to find out cash outflows. So the cost of the machine, okay, is 1,50,000. Remember, we are now finding the cash streams of proposal X. So first we have to find out cash outflows. Okay, so cost of the machine X is 1,50,000 rupees. Add additional working capital required 50,000. It is given in the case. So initial investment or initial cash outlay would be 2 lakh rupees on account of proposal X. Okay, on account of proposal X. So far there is no confusion. Everything is clear. Okay. In fact, this is a simple one. Yeah, one more thing you remember now, since we have to evaluate proposal X and proposal Y and decide, okay, in which project proposal to invest. So we need to estimate the cash flows separately for proposal X and separately for proposal Y. So whatever we are doing for proposal X, same way you have to repeat for proposal Y. Then compare the net present value of both proposal X and proposal Y. Whichever is greater, we should choose that proposal to invest. So initial investment in proposal X will be 2 lakh rupees. Okay, you can leave one line actually here, not a problem. So next we are going to find out cash flows after taxes and the net present value of proposal X. Okay, so how much additional revenue machine X is going to generate? Okay, and that is 1,30,000 rupees. Okay, and it is given in the problem that on account of machine X there will be up to 30,000 cash expenses. 30,000 rupee cash expenses. Okay, now why we are not considering year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dear students? I have already told 1,30,000 is a, see, it is already given in the problem readily. This is the incremental cash revenue. Okay, this is the incremental cash revenue. In previous problems, we separately found it first. Okay, then we went ahead with making the adjustments. So here the incremental cash sales is directly given. Okay, 1,30,000, and each year there will be cash expenses of 30,000 rupees. So the incremental cash profit before taxes are 1 lakh rupees. Okay, so then less taxes at the rate of 35%. Okay, so which are 35,000 rupees. So cash flows after taxes. Okay, cash flows after taxes are 65,000 rupees each year. I repeat, 65,000 rupees each year. Okay, even if you put up a table of particulars and year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the columns will be same. All the columns will be same. You will write only this much. You will write only this much in each column. So we have prepared it in a single format. Years I have not considered. So each year the cash flows after taxes from proposal X will be 65,000 year 1, 65,000 year 2, 65,000 year 3, 65,000 year 4, and 65,000 year 5. This is something new. In all the previous two cases, okay, the CFET at the end of each year was different, remember. So there in both the cases we considered converting that future sum into present value. So since each year the amount was different, we considered it as a case of a present value of a single cash flow, and we referred to table A3, present value of 1 rupee. Now each year the cash flows after taxes are going to be same. Year 1 65,000, year 2 65,000, year 3 65,000, year 4 65,000, and year 5 also 65,000. So dear student, it becomes a case of annuity. I have very clearly and in simple way explained. Annuity is an equal annual cash flows. Yes, 65,000 rupees each year for 5 years, as it is annual, and amount is also going to remain same, 65,000 rupees each year. So it becomes a case of annuity. Okay, so that is the reason why to find out the present value. So if the company invests in project proposal X, I repeat, if the company decides to invest in project proposal X, okay, the company will receive cash flows after taxes of 65,000 rupees each year for 5 years. This is how we make the statement. So we have to find out the present value of this annuity, 65,000 rupees each year for 5 years at 15% interest. Okay, so at 12%, I'm sorry. Okay, yes, 12% cost of capital. So then, yeah, let me share table A4 with you. So for 12% column and for years 1 to for year 5. So let us see what is the present value. So it is mentioned here, but I prefer to, okay, witness, okay, I make you to witness how to identify that value of annuity. So we need to go for table A4, table A1, A2, A3, and A4. Okay, so we need 12% column. So I will move to the next page. Yeah. Yes. So what we have here is the present value of an annuity of 1 rupee. So 12% is the interest column. 5th year is the row. 12% interest column. 5th year, 5 year is the life of the project. 5th year is row. So what is this value? Who can say?
3.605.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So the present value of an annuity at the rate of 12% for a period of 5 years is 3.605. Okay. So we know what to do then. So to find the present value of annuity, amount of annuity 65,000 multiplied by, okay, present value factor, okay, which is the 3.605. So we multiply these two, 65,000 into 3.605. So the present value of the annuity is 2,34,325 rupees. See, this is the first cash stream. Remember, there are other cash streams, okay, like tax benefit on short-term capital loss, okay, and others. So we are going to calculate them separately. So please remember the present value of annuity or present value of cash inflows from project X is 2,34,325. This is the first stream of cash inflows. There are other cash streams as well. So we are going to calculate them separately. So we need to find out the present value of tax savings due to depreciation. Okay. So remember. So the next thing is we need to prepare the depreciation schedule. Okay. So here we have directly prepared the present value of tax savings. Just let me take you to the rate of depreciation, okay, and the value. Okay. Yeah. So machine X will cost 1,50,000 rupees. Okay, and depreciated at the rate of 20%. Okay, on the written down value method. Okay. So dear students, so this table we are going to find out the present value of tax savings due to depreciation. You know that, okay, depreciation is not taxed. Okay, so it is deducted from the taxable income before the tax is calculated. So whatever is saved, okay, on account of that, okay, it shows as a cash stream or a cash inflow for the company. We have done it. Here also we are going to do it now. So for which we need a 5-column table. Year, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So why only year 1, 2, 3, 4? Why we are not calculating depreciation in year 5? Anyone?
Terminal year.
Yeah, terminal year. What happens in terminal year in case of project X or machine X?
We don't consider.
Sorry?
Terminal year is not supposed to be considered.
Why? Why I am asking? Anybody else? Why? Why we are not calculating depreciation in the terminal year? See, there are two cases.
There is no any other block of.
Very good, Anushri. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Correct. Okay. So what we have written here, assuming the company does not have any other asset in the block of 20%. So in such a case, we don't charge depreciation in the terminal year. Okay. So that's why we have calculated depreciation only for 4 years. So now it's not very difficult. Students, please pay attention. Okay. Some students even say, okay, lose track. So for them it is project X. Cost of project X or machine X is 1,50,000 rupees. Rate of depreciation is 20%. So how much is 20% of 1,50,000?
40,000.
Yes, correct. So 20 divided by 100 into 1,50,000 will give you 30,000, or 15%. 15 divided by 100 means 0.15 multiplied by 1,50,000 will also give you 30,000. So 20% of 1,50,000 is 30,000 rupees the depreciation in year 1. So year 2 you need to deduct, okay, 1,50,000 minus 30,000. Second year, okay, the depreciation base will become 1,20,000 rupees. Then 20% of 1,20,000, how much? 20% of 1,20,000 is 24,000. Okay. And third year, 1,20,000 minus 1,20,000 minus 24,000. It means 96,000 rupees the depreciation base in year 3. So 20% of 96,000 is 19,200. So this way we have calculated the depreciation amount in each year, okay, on written down value method at the rate of 20% depreciation. Since there is no other asset in the block, okay, which is charged at the rate of depreciation is charged at the rate of 20%. So we are not going to calculate depreciation in the terminal year or 5th year. So now, so what happens in year 1? Tax rate is 35%. Tax rate is 35%. Okay, so 35 divided by 100 will give you 0.35. So simply you can multiply 30,000 into 0.35. or 35% of 30,000 is 10,500 rupee. Company did not pay tax. Okay. It means that becomes part of the cash stream or cash inflow. So tax savings in year 1 are 10,500. 35% of 24,000, because tax rate is 35%. 35% of 24,000 is 8,400 tax savings in year 2. 35% of 19,200 is 6,720. 35% of 15,360 is 5,376. Now each year, if you look at these totals, each year the amount is different. Okay, and we are going to receive these tax savings or benefits in year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4 in future. So each year we are going to consider the case of single cash flow to be received after year 1, 10,500. Case of single cash flow, 8,400 to be received after 2 years. Case of 6,720 years. Okay, to be received after 3rd year. Okay, so this way, each year we're going to calculate the present value separately. Okay, so when there is we need to convert future value into present, we are going to use the discounting technique. And in discounting technique, we have 3 cases: single cash flow, annuity, and perpetuity. So clearly it is the case of single cash flow. So that is the reason why I'm going to refer table A3, present value of 1 rupee. So at the rate of, 12% interest. Okay, yes, at the rate of 12% interest, and for years 1 to 4. I need only that much, years 1 to 4. Okay, so 12% interest. Okay, this is the annuity. I need to go to table A3, dear students. Yes. The present value of 1 rupee, table A3, 12% interest. Okay, so the present value factor in year 1. Any student can read out, any one student? For year 1, the present value factor is
0.893.
Yes, you continue, Swati. For second year?
So for second year, 0.797.
Yeah.
For third year, 0.712. For fourth year, 0.636.
Okay,
For
yeah,
fifth
thanks.
year,
No, fifth year, only fourth year. Okay, no depreciation is charged in fifth year. Okay. Yeah. So those present value factors, I have brought them here. Okay, 0.893 in year 1, 0.797 in year 2, 0.712 in year 3, and 0.636 in year 4. So we'll get the present value of these single cash flows. Okay, once we multiply the amount, okay, the amount multiplied by present value factor. So 10,500 into 0.893 is equal to 9,377 rupees. The present value of 10,500 rupees to be received after 1 year from now. Okay, then 8,400 into 0.797 is equal to 6,695 rupees is the present value of 8,400 rupees to be received 2 years from now. 6,720 into 0.712 is equal to 4,785 rupees is the present value of 6,720 rupees which we are going to receive after 3rd year. 5,376 into 0.636 is equal to 3,419 rupees is the present value of 5,376 rupees which you are going to receive after 4 years. Okay, so the total present value of total present value of tax savings due to depreciation is, you need to add all these 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, total 24,276 rupees. 24,276 rupees is the present value of tax savings due to depreciation, which is considered as another stream of cash inflow. So this is the second stream of cash inflow now. Okay. Now The third stream of cash inflow is present value of tax savings on account of a short-term capital loss. Okay. So see, please find out, this is the 88,560 rupee. Okay. Is the depreciation base of machine X in 5th year, but we have not charged a depreciation. We have discussed the reason. So 88,560 rupee, okay, is the depreciation base. One minute. Just give me a minute. I think. Okay. Okay, dear students, so now we are third stream of cash inflow is present value of the tax savings on short-term capital loss. Now, please pay attention. Yes, what I am saying is correct. 88,560 rupee is the depreciation base of machine X in year 5. Okay, a written down value of the machine. There is no salvage value. I hope we can recall. There is no salvage value for machine X. Okay, so if we deduct cost of the machine 1,50,000 minus written down value 88,560 rupees, we get the amount 61,440 rupees is the short-term capital loss. Is the short-term capital loss. Okay, so please pay attention. Okay, so now since in the year 5 on account of okay, the machine X, 61,440 rupees is going to be the short-term capital loss. The company need not pay taxes on this 61,440 rupees. Okay, so that becomes another stream of cash inflow for the company on account of short-term capital loss. So I repeat, 1,50,000 cost of the machine minus written down value of the asset in the 5th year. So whatever it is, okay, that is a loss for the company. That difference is 61,440 rupees. Okay. Tax rate is 35%. So I will rewrite it as 0.35. 35 divided by 100 is equal to 0.35. Okay. And if I also multiply this by the present value factor for 12% interest column and only for 61,440 rupee. Okay. So only for 61,440 rupee. Okay, if I consider which we are going to carry on till the 5th year. So 5th year row I have to refer of table A3 of 12% interest column, as the 61,440 is a single amount. So if I refer table A3, okay. Yeah, this is table A3, 12% interest column, 5th year row. So it is 0.567, 0.567. Okay. So 0.567. So which I put here, 0.567. Okay. So whatever amount you get, that is 12,193 rupee is the present value of tax savings on short-term capital loss. This is the third stream of cash inflows. This is the third stream of cash inflows. Okay. The last one, the fourth stream of cash inflow is the release of working capital or recovery of working capital. I hope you can recall now. This is the second time I read the case, and you also might have read it once or 3 times. Should remember, on account of investment in project X or machine X, the company will require an additional working capital of 50,000 rupees, which becomes part of the initial cash outlay. Okay, so we have to recover that working capital in the terminal year of the project, which was 50,000 rupees. Okay, so we need to convert this to its present value. So 50,000 rupees is a single amount. So I have to consider table A3 present value of 1 rupee, 12% interest column and 5th year row, because working capital is recovered in terminal year. Okay, so that is same here again. Okay, so same. So interest column, 12% interest column and 5th year row of table A3. The value is already here. I did not refer the time value table again, 0.567. So I'll write here 50,000 recovery of working capital in 5th year multiplied by 0.567 from table A3. The present value factor from 12% interest column and 5th year row. Okay, so which is 28,350 rupees. So 28,350 rupee is the present value of 50,000 rupee, okay, to be received in 5th year. Okay, so its present value is 28,350 rupees. So this is the 4th stream of cash inflows. So then we need to calculate total all the streams of cash inflows. So remember the present value of machine X, okay, from incremental revenue is 2,34,325. Okay, so I write it here, 2,34,325, and on account of present value of tax savings, okay, on account of depreciation is 24,276. So the second stream of cash inflow, and the third stream of the present value of tax savings on short-term capital loss, 12,193 plus, okay, recovery of working cap, present value of recovery of working capital, 28,350 rupees. So the total is 2,99,144 rupees is the total present value on project X. Okay. So then the total cash outflows were 2 lakh rupees. Okay. So as you can remember, the total cash outflows. Okay. The total cash outflows of project X were 2 lakh rupees. So I simply have to deduct. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So total cash outflows were 2 lakh rupees as we saw there. Okay. And the total present value of cash inflows is 2,99,144. So the net present value of machine X or project X is 99,144 rupees. I repeat, the net present value of machine X or project X is 99,144 rupees. Okay, simply we are going to find out the NPV of machine Y. Compare whichever is greater, we are going to select that project. Now, students, less than a minute is remaining. You please join back once the meeting closes. And please join back quickly. Do not waste more time because I have to take attendance also.